headlights never seem to change. Day in and day out, they always stay the same. Concrete's growing, the city's moving in, and there's progress for progress' sake. They think they know what's best for us and how to change our backwards ways. We stand for the flag. You can be damn sure that we're thankful for everything we have. We love this land. Every inch paid for by blood and sweat and the strength to take a stand. You might think that it's a relic or a right. Way out here, we still stand for the flag. Men that died, gave their lives, knew what they were fighting for. Sacrifice and innocence left on a foreign shore. These colors still fly here high and proud, the red, the white, the blue. If you think they're coming down, I got some news for you. We stand for the flag. You can be damn sure that we're thankful for everything we have. We love this land. Every inch paid for by blood and sweat and the strength to take a stand. You might think that it's a relic or a right. Way out here, we still stand for the flag. From sea to shining sea, there's still a lot of good old boys like me. We stand for the flag. You can be damn sure we're thankful for everything we have. Love this land. Every inch paid for by blood and sweat and the strength to take a stand. You might think that it's a relic or a rag. Way out here, we still stand for the flag.
So with a spear we talk in true vets. Roll call, soldier stories, no regrets. Street wars, combats, battles and jets. Living by the code where respect forgets. Mic check, now it's live, the scars can show. From the trenches to the urban jungle we grow. Speak truth, raw pain, let the memories flow. On the grind every day, survival we owe. Mic check, now it's live, the scars we show. From the trenches to the urban jungle we grow. Speak truth, raw pain, let the memories flow. On the grind every day, survival we owe. Mic check, now it's live, the scars we show. From the trenches to the urban jungle we grow. Speak truth, raw pain, let the memories flow. On the grind every day, survival we owe. Tip of the spear where warriors convene. Swap tales of valor, explain what we seen. Blood and sweat, bond tight, stronger than the mean. In each word, echo the fight, more than just a scene. Boots on the ground, the dodging shells. Veterans' voices speaking from hells. Heartfelt confessions, hearing the bells. Brothers in arms, where the honor dwells. Came out the mud, now stand tall. War zones, prison yards, behind these walls. Dipped in reality, truth in the halls. Each episode drops, we answer the call. Tip of the spear where warriors convene. Swap tales of valor, explain what we seen. Blood and sweat, bond tight, stronger than the mean. In each word, echo the fight, more than just a scene. More than just a scene. Tip of the spear where warriors convene. Swap tales of valor, explain what we've seen. Blood and sweat, bond tight, stronger than the mean. And each word echo the fight, more than just a scene. Yeah. Cheer for the spear. New Orleans can be. Swat tales of valor. Display what we've seen. Look. Not be seen. Brutality. Chivalry worlds. More than just a scene. More than just a scene. Yeah. More than just a scene. 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 Yeah. More than just a scene. Yeah. More than just a scene. Yeah. More than just a scene. More than just a scene. Yeah. More than just a scene. Killer. More than just a scene. Yeah. More than just a scene. Yeah. More than just a scene. More than just a scene.
Going on, everybody? Welcome to the tip of the spear. I love the little leprechaun there, Rich.
I gotta keep it real for you.
How is everybody doing?
Doing good.
Gunny,
Good
how
to
are
be here.
you?
Good, man. Had a couple very nice days up in DC. Real warm weather. Got out, walked the National Mall for a little bit. Took in the sights, the memorials, and then on the way home, did something I've never done before, and went and visited the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial. Man, if you've never been there, it is pretty breathtaking. Just to see the names of all the guys and girls, thousands of guys and girls that have, given their life in the line of duty while protecting their communities, and we look at, the Vietnam Wall and now the Korean Memorial that has all the names, and, that's wartime, and death happens during wartime. We all know this, but then you go over by the courthouse and you look at that memorial, and these guys are on the streets every day, and we've said it numerous times here that they witness trauma on almost daily basis and see things that we won't see even in combat sometimes, and just to know that they gave their lives in their community. And there's a few names of family members that I've met in the past that their loved ones on the wall, and I was able to take an etching and send it to the family. So it's just very eye-opening for sure to do that. And then obviously attended the gala for Soldiers Sideline, and had my boss there and was honored to represent Team Fast Tracks and the other soldier coaches out there. And the recognition for me won't come until next year because I was January's coach. So the 2025 stuff won't happen until the 2026 gala.
Nice. Well, hopefully I can make that one with you. So if you don't know, Gunny was. Go ahead and tell them what you got, Gunny.
So Soldiers Sidelines is an organization that was started a few years ago to give service members an opportunity to get into coaching, to help, I guess, give them people a purpose, right, a direction again. And they offer free seminars, virtual seminars throughout the year. So sports performance, otherwise known as sports strength and conditioning, football, soccer, basketball, lacrosse. They do an all women's event as well, and they do in-person events. So last year I took 2 of the seminars, and then in January, I was selected out of a couple thousand people as the January 2025 Soldier Coach of the Month for what I do for Team Fast Tracks and inspiring people around the world.
Yeah, you're an inspiration for
brother.
me every day. But congratulations, well deserved. That's for sure. Mr. Tim Thomas, how is the weather in Down Under, my brother?
Yeah, they're not studio lights. That is the gorgeous sunshine we have coming through the window. And I wish I could FedEx it over to you guys because you could probably do with some.
Definitely. Well, it's dark time here, but today was a beautiful day in Kentucky. I will tell you, it was 70 degrees here in Kentucky. The perfect day. I just couldn't. I'm glad I took the day off. Let's just put
77 here in Cali right now.
Nice.
I mean, I think Gunny's going to agree with me. Any day is a perfect day for weather if you can go fishing on it.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So I want to give a big shout out to Dr. Ariel Johnson. Just had a meet and greet, or Jordan. I don't know why I said Johnson. Ariel Jordan just had a meet and greet with her right before the tip of the spear. She is a PTSD therapist. She's an Army veteran. She is actually going to start our month of June, which is PTSD awareness, on Homefront Sit Rep. She's going to be our first guest for the month of June. So all of you veteran podcasters, if you want to get in contact with her, I can give you her email address, or she can put it out there in chat as well. She's amazing. All right, Mr. Rich LaMonica, how's the weather where you're at, brother?
I think it was up to 77 today after being 7 last week in Indiana. So I felt pretty good outside training today. Last week I didn't feel so good training outside. It's been a pretty busy month, as you know. I've seen you on one of my trips going up and down.
Yeah.
In between those trips, I went to the Shield of Faith missions, Be Resilient Clinic down in Tampa. Great time, and recentered myself. And I'm proud to say, as of today, I'm 1 month sober after 40 years of drinking. So it's an amazing feat for me.
Good stuff, brother.
Raymond, who was on my show, also one of our co-hosts, one of our producers, he celebrated 1 year sober today. So shout out to him as well.
Oh, yeah.
Heck yeah.
And something I didn't announce when it happened, my book Out of the Darkness got the International Impact Book Award in the military category for the month of December 2024. So best book in that series. So
that's freaking amazing. Well. That's amazing, brother. I love it.
That's awesome.
I love it. Yogi, how's the weather?
What it is, my people. So I am in San Diego. The weather is always sunny and beautiful here. No complaints. I am here behind the shadows inside of an RV, and I still get sunny. So just like you, my boss, no studio lights, just enjoying the sun. I want to share with y'all part of the reason why I've been amidst the last couple of months. Yeah, it's because I've been working extremely hard as part of the there's an organization here for California community colleges. As you guys know, I started college and it's been an adventure, but there's an organization called SSCCC, Student Senate for California Community Colleges, that represents the 2 million students here in California. Well, lo and behold, there's very little conversation about veterans, right? So I went to Advocacy Academy and I was like, why are we not talking about us? Anyway, so I wrote 8 resolutions that are focused on veterans, to include having participation and collaboration for students across the state of California. Also to have Gold Star members have priority enrollment, focused leadership training on organizations, make sure that the staff gets proper training to be able to know how to talk to and understand what a veteran is, because even though it's mandated to their curriculum, it still doesn't happen across the board, right? Yeah. And then also including us. So March 4th, I'm going to be in Sacramento fighting for that. And then April 4th is when they're going to be either approved, denied, or amended. But it's looking up really good. That's all I can say at the moment. It's
Man, that's
fantastic.
awesome.
So I just wanted to share that with y'all, man. I love y'all. I'm really happy to be able to have some time to be back. Oh, and if you're in California and if you're going to a community college, I also started the Veteran Caucus to represent all of the colleges across the state of California. So if you need information, let me know. I'll put it in the chat. That way you can shoot me an email, and then, or if you know someone that's going to community college, hit them up. I don't care if they're a veteran, if they're a family member, or they're just your friends. Fucking let us get connected. Let us grow. We need to show our voice of who we are and what we're doing here.
I love it, man. Congratulations, Jogi. JJ,
What's happening, man?
what's going, brother? How's the weather where you at?
How is the weather? Well, I mean, it was in the 50s today. I wish it would have felt like that because the wind was blowing like 40 mile an hour. So I'm still over here in a hoodie. I'm definitely not like Tim over there in Australia where he's sleeveless, able to let the sun shine on him and feel nice and warm.
Right.
But no,
So,
everything. Yeah, go ahead.
So you're new to the panel.
I am.
So do me a favor and tell a little bit about who you are, brother.
Sure. So I'm a retired warrant officer, Army warrant officer.
Unicorn right there.
Unicorn, sure. Whatever you want to call me, anything but late for dinner is fine. But no, I also own Victory Leadership Coaching, and I do a lot of corporate training focusing on helping new managers understand how to be successful in their role. I also have a podcast. I do a few shows, but my primary podcast is Warrior Vetrepreneur Podcast, and it helps veteran-owned businesses get out there and share their story that got them to where they are, and talk about things that aren't normally talked about. I want to inspire veterans to go out there and win. So that's kind of my mission in life right now. And I got hooked up with Willis last week, and he's going to be linking me up with some more people. But gosh, I didn't know TikTok was so popular, but I've had a lot of fun visiting with the people that Willis has introduced me to on TikTok.
Yeah, so he started his first live ever on TikTok, right? And he didn't know how it was going to go. And within the first 20 minutes,
yep,
we had a full panel of guests. We had like 30 or 40 people in the chat just chatting. And man, it was a crazy experience, my friend, let me tell you. And I was glad to be part of it to help you on your journey of learning the whole TikTok side of things.
It's a learning curve just like anything else, and it's not just full of a bunch of people twerking and doing the dances and people trying to sell you inappropriate things on there either. So I mean, it's good to know that there are actual communities out there of people that are talking about important stuff and acting a little bit stupid too.
Oh yeah,
because that's important.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
just glad there's another Army guy in the panel. I'm not outnumbered as much anymore.
No, there you go.
Hell yeah.
Hey, and Rich, thank you for connecting with me earlier, buddy.
Awesome,
we got to talk sometime.
Yes, sir.
Well, you definitely need to get with Tim Thomas up there because for one, he has a business. For two, he's in Australia and he's an amazing guy. So you definitely got to get connected with Tim up there.
I'll tell you what, Tim, I served with the Australian military, my first deployment in southern Iraq. And y'all's military, you guys are freaking crazy, and I love it.
Can you give us?
Yeah, they try to steal MREs from our area when we were in Kuwait.
If it's not tied down, we will steal it. That's no lie. You're lucky this is virtual. I would have stolen half of Gunny's stuff behind him already.
Well, and they had access to things that before I quit drinking that we didn't have access to before during that time where it was General Order 1.
Hell, the Australians get friggin' beer in their MREs. What are you talking about?
That's right. Yes.
I had a whole bar when I worked with them called the Mortar Bar. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Brian Roof.
If you want to talk about Japan, they have shuhais with their stuff. So
yeah. Brian Roof, what's going on, brother? How's things out there in Cali in your area?
Man, I can't complain, bro. It's nice and sunny here. Getting warm already. I feel like we're gonna skip spring here in the desert and go straight to summer. So yeah, man. And other than that, brother, I'm having a great time. It's been a while, I feel like, since I've been on here, but and now baseball seasons coming, and little dude's got practice on Wednesdays, so this might be a last one for a little while. But,
oh man,
yeah,
well, welcome.
I'm here.
Yeah, welcome back, and I'm glad you are back. And what's this? Oh, Yogi, did that go into the main chat, Yogi, or did that go in just private? Oh, it's there. There it is.
Private.
Yeah, I'm glad you're back, and you got to go take care of your family, man. If that means missing some tip of the spears while he's doing baseball, you definitely got to go take care of the little man first. So definitely
Just missing the tip. Just the tip.
Just a tip.
just a tip. All right, Mr. Ty Cobb, welcome, brother. You're muted, my friend.
He said hello.
Yeah, sorry, I was in the background trying to stream this to my stuff. What's up?
No.
How y'all doing?
You've been gone for a minute. How's things out there in Houston area?
Man, everything's good. Just trying to, navigate the climate, work hard, and do some good podcasts a couple times a week.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. Who just dropped out? JJ.
Bro, I just came back from Houston.
Next time you're in Houston, look me up, man. We'll have to do lunch.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, I'm glad you're back, Mr. Ty Cobb. So we got a challenge going on right now. It's the 22 pie in the face challenge going on right now. And I was challenged by Black Dog Community Sam off of TikTok. I challenged Gunny, and I challenged Ty, and Ty came through at the last minute. And you know what? Let's just go ahead and show that video.
oh, you got the video.
Oh man.
What's up, everybody? It's Ty with the Triple Threat Bet podcast. I was challenged by David Willis of the Homefront Sit Rep podcast to take a pie in the face for Mission 22. So I had until the end of February to get this done, but I figure I'll go ahead and take care of it now. I challenge Al Hero and Matt Johnson of the Triple Threat Bet podcast. All right, love you guys. Bye.
Yep, there was.
Loving it.
Oh, that
Now,
looked
I
like
will
a
tell
delicate
you-
sinuses there, mate.
I will tell you that your pie in the face was better than my pie in the face.
Yes, absolutely.
But Gunny said it was still weaker than his.
Well, I was actually my son, my 12-year-old, as you can see, he kept pouring the stuff on there, and he hit me preemptively. Like, I didn't realize it was coming at that time. Like, we had planned it out a little bit, but it's funny because Matt did one, also, and then he challenged Kyle Shudik from Project Zero. So Kyle said, bump that. I'm not doing awareness. I'm actually going to give some money. So I think he's going to send some money to Mission 22. So.
Yeah, he's already posted the screenshot of him donating. But speaking of Matt's video, let's show that one.
What's up, everybody? It's Ty with the Triple Threat Bet podcast.
Oh, that was mine
That's
again.
not it.
Yeah, that was the wrong one. Here we go.
What's going on, everybody? This is Matt with the Triple Threat Bet podcast and Got Your Six. So, my friend Ty challenged me, y'all. He challenged me. And he challenged me for a good cause. So he challenged me to take a pie in the face. Can you believe that? But I'm going to take a pie in the face for a great cause for Mission 22. So I was going to wait and do this another day. Oh. That's called love, y'all. You see that? And she's even smiling about it. All right. Well, see, there you go. I just took a pie in the face for Mission 22. So, that being said, it's my turn. So I'm going to challenge Kyle Shudik with Project Zero and Chris Fahey with the PTSD Foundation of America to take a pie in the face for Mission 22 so we can help that cause. So there you have it. Oh, and by the way, she still loves me, even though you saw how hard she put that thing in my face.
There was some crust in that one.
There was.
Hey, you saw the look on her face, man. It's like she was preparing for that all day.
It was pure
Oh
joy.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was good. It was all right.
Yeah. It was,
Gunny, I
it was
like
good.
yours. Gunny, I liked yours. I saw yours the other night. Willis shared it out on his live stream, and you got some instant revenge there within a minute or so.
No, that was my other son.
Well, that's right. Willis told me
So
that.
was
That's
my
right.
youngest. Yeah, that was my youngest son. So my oldest son smoke checked me, and then they started laughing, and my youngest son picked it up off the ground. And I was like, "Oh yeah," and I got him. But what Willis didn't show you is my oldest son went outside and then came back in, and I got him as he came back in the house.
Yeah,
so I got
have
both
that
my
video.
kids.
I need to fix that video so we can actually show that one as well. But no, so it's amazing if you're out there and you're watching, whether you're watching on TikTok, whether you're watching on one of the other platforms here, and you want to start a pie in the face challenge for Mission 22, just take a pie in the face and challenge 2 people. And if they don't want to take a pie in the face, have them donate $22 to Mission 22. Just to bring awareness. I mean, we talk about it all the time. I know awareness is everywhere, but 22 a day, which I'm gonna throw air quotes because we know that number is way more than 22 a day. One a day is too many. So donate if you don't want to do a pie in the face, which is super easy, super fun. You get your kids involved, your wife involved, your domestic partner involved. Who cares? Just get them involved and have fun with it, and then challenge 2 people and carry it and tag Homefront Sit Rep, tag any one of these guys here that are on this show right now, tag them and say, hey, we're doing the 22 pie in the face challenge for Mission 22. And man, let's go. Let's make it a thing all across the country. So
yeah, see, Candace says, where are the real pies? I'm not wasting a real pie to go. I mean, if it's gonna go, it's gonna go in the pie hole. You know, I'm not wasting.
I think you got to be careful with what that means with the pie hole. I'm just saying, this can go real south real quick.
He demonstrated to make sure that didn't go wrong.
I would rather eat the pie than take the pie to the face. But yeah, Candace, no, I'm not wasting money on a real pie just to waste it. You know.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, those whipped cream ones anyway, those are a lot more messy than a real pie. And that whipped cream gets in places that things should not be in. I've taken plenty of pies in the face.
Pies look pretty runny, so I will tell you, it looked like it got everywhere.
Well, it'd been there for a little bit, and we did Cool Whip, tub Cool Whip, and the instant, the
Ready Whip,
on the one that Micah hit me with, the Ready Whip with the one that he hit me with, and man, that stuff just stayed there. And I'll tell you, my face imprint was stuck in the tub Cool Whip because they get it out of like the refrigerated section, and it's kind of hard anyway. It doesn't really melt, and it just stayed there. And that's why I was able to get Miles and Micah both with the same plate because it just stayed there. Steve Kinsley wants to see your video, Willis.
My video?
Let's see your video. You're showing everybody's video. Why don't we see yours?
All right, hold on. I gotta go to TikTok to get it though, because I don't have it on. Yeah, so there's here. Let me put you full screen, Ty.
You're
muted.
Yourself off mute there.
He's muted too.
Yeah, you were muted, Ty.
So show that rookie error, mate.
Oh, sorry.
Show that video again.
I don't
or
know.
not video, but
I said, here you go, Kyle Shudik. I donated money too, but I also took a pie in the face. So take a pie in the face for fun.
All right, let's see. Let me get my video here since you guys want to see my video. My video was weak, bro.
We just want to see the pie in your face, man.
All right, let's see.
Well, your wife said you picked the wrong child to do it. That's why.
Yes, I did.
But she was too nice.
Hold on, let me go.
That's it.
Hold on. Let me go full screen here. Might help if
Go full screen.
Yeah, I did a rookie mistake. It'd be hard to.
You're washed out. Take it back away from the screen a little bit.
Take it closer to the screen.
Closer.
There it is.
Oh, that's so gentle.
So
and then he says, "Who's next?"
That does not count.
That
smear? That was so weak. It was like a smear, bro.
It was like you paid them not to hit you.
Well,
so she was afraid on your forehead. That's about it.
She was afraid. Hold on, let me bring me out of here.
If I
She
was
was
the guys that got nominated by him, I would feel ripped off.
Oh,
Right?
I would
Okay.
feel really ripped off
Do it
after
again.
watching the
All
other
right.
two.
We'll do it again. I will do it again.
This
You
time
need
with
to let
Julie.
you need to let your wife do it.
Yeah, I probably need to let Julie do it. Yeah, or Lo. She's the violent one. Lo's the violent one. So we'll do it
That was
again,
a
and I'll
very
do it.
loving one. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we were also inside. It was cold. It was snow outside, so we didn't go outside. And Mom likes the house to stay clean. So I was like, look, we can't get it everywhere because Mom will have a conniption. But we'll do it again and we'll make it better. So the next
yeah,
tip
she
of the
might as
spear,
well just took her finger and went like this to you. You know what I mean? Like,
Just let
Yeah,
it
go
drip
ahead.
like you do for the dog, just let it drip on the nose.
So Candace says, never have I ever been so intrigued watching a bunch of men having pies in their face.
there's
So,
always a
fellas,
first. There's
Can
always
I,
a
can
first.
I tell you a story real quick? I got to run after this. So
Go for it.
I'm doing the So Smoking Gooder show tonight for the Houston Livestock and Rodeo show. So getting ready to go do that. But so Willis, this is kind of for you. So for I came across someone today from my past. So today I made contact with my basic training drill sergeant. So
Oh God,
yeah.
okay.
Ooh.
So I made an impression on him. He called me Big Country when we were in basic, and then he came to Fort Campbell like after me. And then I saw him a couple times there. So we would joke every now and then. I would say some basic training stuff to him as we were running through PT formation or something. So he's going to come on the podcast. So like no shit, this guy right here, the professionalism. He was a drill sergeant. And he did all the drill sergeant stuff, but like reflecting back now after being in for 20 years, like this is the guy that I remember emulating when I was in the military, when I first gotten out of basic. He was the leadership style that I kind of adopted. And so for me to be able to bring him on and interview him, man, that's cool as hell to me to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I'll let you know when he comes on, Willis, and you have to come on for that show too.
talk about full circle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, just the reason we do our podcast over the Triple Threat is like we just want to show the sentiment of brotherhood, and Rich knows what I'm talking about with that Band of Brothers stuff. I spent a lot of time there, so lots of deployments. So just being able to share that with people, man, that's the great thing for me. So basic fucking training drill sergeant. I mean, that's just weird as hell. But
Did you tell him to sit upright in his chair and pay attention?
I didn't say anything to him. I was like, hey, Roger, he was the sergeant.
Oh,
He
you
was
missed that opportunity.
Yeah, I should have. When he comes on the show, though, I have to give it to him a little bit.
Heck yeah.
We're not
yeah.
basic
Yeah, because you're in charge now.
That's right. I'm in charge. I'll keep telling
I'm
him.
the captain now.
So what's coming up on Triple Threat? I know you got to leave here for too long. Who do y'all got? I think you got Theory coming up soon, right?
Yeah, we got Theory coming up on Tuesday, and then we got some big interviews coming up over the next couple months. I'll actually tell you, we've got General David Petraeus is going to be interviewed on the 27th of May. We've got Dr. Mitch Mackey's coming on our show the 6th of May. We've got Patton Gade, who is the #1 VA loan originator in America. He's a West Pointer. Now he works for U Mortgage, so he helps all the veterans with their VA mortgage and loans. So he's going to come on and talk about that. And just a lot of people from my past. We got a guy named Victor Ramirez that does the Texas Legislative Committee. So he's going to come on and talk about all the things that the VFW Legislative Committee is kind of trying to get pushed through the Texas legislature. So just a lot of cool stuff, a lot of tools. So not unlike what you do, man. I love watching Rich's show. I love watching Willis's show and just seeing what we got going on. But I love it. I love this show. I love the gathering of everybody together. And I know I'm not here every month, but I do watch it from when I'm in my regular job from time to time. So
yeah,
I appreciate y'all
Mitch
very much.
Mackey's going to be a good one, man.
Oh yeah.
Because I had him on my podcast, and man, just to hear the stories of the 442?
Fighting 442nd, yeah.
Yeah, 442nd, and the endurance camps that the Japanese Americans had to go into, and man, just that story, it just the history in itself was amazing. And he's a great interview too. I mean, he's amazing.
Well, I mean, I enjoyed talking to him so much on your show. That's why I wanted him to come on our show. Like, I loved talking to him when he was with you, and I remember relating the story, like how I heard about the Fighting 442nd was literally from the movie The Karate Kid from Mr. Miyagi, because that was his unit, Medal of Honor winner. And I was like, oh, is that just a notional movie thing? No, that was a real unit and one of the most decorated units in World War II. So,
heck yeah, no,
but I appreciate you guys. I got to run though, real quick.
All right, brother. Be good. Be safe.
All right, y'all be good. Take it easy.
Yeah. So if you don't know who Mitch Mackey is, I'll have to pull it up and tell you. But he's the director of God, I can't even brain fart at the present moment in time. But I'll look it up and tell you. But it's Japanese history, Japanese American history. And it's most of it is about the 442nd and. Man, I tell you what, it was an amazing story to hear. And it's just history of it is just amazing. So anybody got any topics they want to talk about? Any hot topics that's been going on?
Something that is we're going to be tackling is here in California, in LA, we're arranging to talk to the congressman about all the deportees that have happened in the last couple of months, that are all veterans, citizens, and that have been deported and have found their way back after all of that chaos.
Okay. So these were veterans that were citizens that were deported?
Correct.
Holy, how did that happen? I don't understand how that happens.
That is the greatest question out there. You have a profile, you have a look, and then you just go. And then
so you're guilty until proven innocent, pretty much.
Correct.
Holy cow.
Even if you're proven innocent, there was another guy in I want to say Idaho who got arrested, got detained. He proved that he was he had his VA card. He proved that he was a veteran. He basically got told that, hey, this is a fake document. There's no fucking way that you can be a veteran. He got arrested. He got sent through the whole process, and that's why I don't have all of the answers to all the ones that happened here. That's why we're going to interview them, and we're going to share that information to get to the bottom of it.
Bro, that's crazy. I mean, you can't fake a VA card. You can't. I mean,
why would you?
Yeah, why would you? Yeah.
It gets you nothing. Yeah. And when you go to the VA, they're going to look at you and say, you're not the person that's supposed to be here.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You're late.
It gives you nothing.
Yeah, you're late. You haven't been there.
You're late. Oh, hey, come back in 3 months.
You're late. You're late.
So, Yogi, I have to ask you this, brother. So, is this a thing where there are some people? Because I know when I was downrange and even not downrange, that there were some people that were going to finish off their citizenship paperwork. So, did some people serve and then not finish their citizenship paperwork, and this is happening as well?
So yes, some people did do that. That happened to some people across that I know that never submitted for their citizenship. While I was, at the beginning of my career, I knew that happened all the time because there was not enough information, so people would just get out. Then we did a much better job at promoting, hey, if you're doing this, your path to citizenship is there, so let's do it. Let's help out, right? There was a lot better communication. What this specific member's scenario was, I don't know, so I cannot speculate. But to answer your question, there are some members that do serve that only wanted to remain residents versus citizens for whatever reason, and not every member that serves gets their citizenship.
Right.
Yeah. So, but my question is, are some of those people also being deported, or I mean,
I don't know.
You don't know this. Okay.
I don't know this. Once I get the list of who's actually going to be able to get interviewed and who and the time, I will put it out on the media and I'll tag all you guys so that we can actually get more information. And whatever questions you got, I'll be more than glad to share it. If I ever get deported, for the record, I'm a citizen. 2, I will be calling you motherfuckers from the other side and be like, hey, this fucking happened to me. So just for the record, I'm throwing that out. And balloons came out.
He had those balloons going up.
Balloons going. Just tell them you were born yesterday, man.
Right?
But yeah, Yogi, you've got to fight for information right now. Like you said, once you can establish those facts, have that data undeniable, then you can punch above the pay packet. Then you get above all those people that say, oh, red, blue, whatever. Well, here's the facts, Jack. And yeah, so I really encourage you to fight for that information, get the points of data behind you, and then that punches above your pay packet.
Yeah, I do know that there was a lot of them that were deported that were actual American citizens and that were born and raised here in the United States, and that
that's
deported
a concern.
anyways.
That's a major concern if that's the the case.
So,
but especially for anybody that's a citizen getting wrongfully sent to another country would be a mishandling of whoever's doing that. I mean that's wild. I mean I would love to see the how the circumstances and what led to that, because I definitely got questions when you say something like that.
Well, historically the government does a horrible job when they're told to do something very quickly and make it happen. So, I mean, they execute without necessarily putting together all of the potential consequences that may.
I think we're all trained to, aim, squeeze the trigger, then shoot. It's not just shoot and then aim,
Right. Yeah. And that happens with anything. And that's not necessarily even just the government. When you're told to go out and do something super fast, you're going to make some mistakes. And unfortunately, in this case, this is American citizens here. It's actually bullshit. So,
well, I mean, just the profiling because you look a certain way anyway, right?
Yeah.
So coming out of Haiti in 2004, I had one of my Marines was Indian, I think, descent. And I briefed my platoon. I was like, listen, we know Nada's going to get searched. That's just the way it is. They're going to point him out and search him before we come back. And this female MP walking the line stops in front of him and tells him to dump his stuff. I knew this before it even was going to happen. And I had only been with him for a month at the time, a month and a half. But because of the profile of looking like an Afghan or Iraqi or whatever, we knew it was going to happen. And I looked right at her. I was like, no. I said, the rest of my Marines will dump their stuff, but he is not. You're not doing this to my Marine. And I ended up dumping my stuff. He didn't dump his. But, just I mean, that was back then, and it's the same thing that's happening now is you look a certain way and they were getting targeted.
But, that goes way back when, I mean, unfortunately, if you had dark colored skin way back when, you were getting targeted. I mean, Japanese Americans after Pearl Harbor got targeted. I mean,
we shouldn't even be in this position though, bro. We shouldn't have opened up the border to get ourselves in this position to begin with, straight up. Now we got a big mess and it's a debacle, no matter what, going to, from, whatever, it's a straight mess at that border now because it's been, not handled properly for many, many years. So
I agree. The border should be locked down, and it should be like any other country, no matter where you're at. Because if you were in Russia and you try to go illegally, guess what? You're probably getting shot. I think
you'll get in Russia. You'll stay there forever.
Yeah, you'll go.
I'm gonna say if you go anywhere in Europe, nobody cares, bro. They just let you in from one place to the next.
Not no more.
Nobody really cares.
Not no more. They just changed it. You have to have
it's definitely crazy. I mean, there's countries out there, like if you try to sneak into their country, you're going to wind up in prison, or two, you're going to be wound up buried underneath the sand or whatnot.
You're not even going to be able to travel within the United States unless you get the My ID or you have a passport. That's the upcoming year for traveling. That's just going from state to state on a plane. I mean,
you got to have that real ID.
Yep.
All right, so I want to talk about this. I'm going to post a link in chat. That way people can look at it. So here's the title: This is from militarynews.com. Army is breaking its own body fat standards to meet recruiting numbers, Watchdog says. So that's the title. So what do you guys just think, just off of the title? What do y'all think about the Army changing their standards?
I think you and Gunny were talking about this earlier. It's just that's the only way they can make those numbers. Only way those recruiters on the streets can get those numbers in. If you look at our population right now and the kids that sit in front of the video games all day and night, just drinking Code Red Mountain Dew and eating fucking Pringles, they're not going to make it into the military right out of high school. So you have to do something to get them in there, and adding 4 or 5 extra weeks of basic, pre-basic, and then basic, and hope they get through is what they're doing.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, your hopes is if they make it in that that they're going to get put in good condition. They're going to get fit. They're going to hopefully have a little bit of a drive, but sometimes that's not the case. A lot of these guys, they end up joining and they become barracks guys just sitting there playing video games and don't do nothing, and they go right back to where they were. I think it's a little bit troubling when we start lowering the standards so we can get somewhere. That's kind of concerning. I mean, I'm watching even it happen in my daughter's college. Like, she's in med school, and they have to curve it so low, like down to a 40% is like an A. I'm like, whoa, you guys are all med kids, and you guys are the ones dealing with our medical. That's not, so having to dumb things down to fit a situation is it's kind of a double-edged sword, man. I mean, it could either go a good way and hopefully you get someone that changes their life for them, right? And then they get in the best shape of their life, and then they get into a great job, and then now they're motivated, or they get in there and they love that chow, and they start playing video games, and the next thing you know, they're filling the PFTs, and they become a problem now. And now you got to do remedial with these guys and everything else. You got to do all the extra to get these guys going. Like I said, and you're only as strong as your weakest guy most of the time in your unit. So, you start doing that, it gets a little rough.
So I want to be the devil's advocate here, right? Standards, no standards. How many times did we see through our entire careers people that were PRT, PFA, whatever you want to call it, cadets, right? They were always doing that because their habits were horrible, regardless of what. Before the standards, after the standards. So that's gonna be a culture thing, right? At least for me in the Navy, it was you always had that 1 or that 2 or that 10, right?
Oh no, dude, because we had remedial. You would run at lunchtime if you were selling PFTs, or if you were not meeting your standards, you would run every lunch. That was your thing.
I had to go in as the platoon sergeant on Saturdays.
Yeah,
do
bro.
PT.
In the
if
Marine
they weren't
Corps,
meeting the standards, I had to go in on
Marine
Saturday.
Corps, they did have a thing that you had remedial. I don't know if it's changed since I've been in, but if you fell out of a PT, anytime anybody was doing a PT, you got in that Humvee, you would have a staff NCO grabbing everybody jumping out of the Humvee, and they take their names, and you would be doing remedial until
usually the company gunning.
So let's be clear, because I just scanned this article that Will has sent everybody, and this is only for recruits. This is not for people. This is not.
No, it's not retention.
People.
It's not retention.
No.
It's
bring them
recruiting.
They're allowed to have a certain, allowed to be heavier than normal. That's why I'm saying, hopefully through boot camp, like I know in the Marine Corps, you couldn't get past pork chop platoon. It was called PCP. We called it pork chop platoon. If you were to a certain weight standard, dog, you went there until you got down to what they needed you to be. Then they spit you back into wherever you dropped out of at what week.
Well, but has anyone else noticed if you're trying when the paperwork people come in trying to fit people into a spreadsheet to meet a certain outcome of numbers, it just fucks everyone on the ground.
Yeah. Well, and what's training going to look like in basic? Let's just be quite honest, because if somebody it looks like some people are even allowed in that are in this article. It says up to 55% on their body fat. So,
and they want you to get
what is that going to do? Yeah, but what is that going to do to the training standard? because that person, if they have 55% body fat,
good Lord,
the rate that they're going to have to run to keep everybody in formation is going to drastically go down, which means these people are going to have to all work at a lower level, which means at the end, what's the graduation rate with that final PT test? What's that going to look like? And are those candidates, the graduates, the new soldiers, Marines, whatever, are they going to be able to, I mean, they have to be able to carry people, they have to carry themselves, they have to drag people. I mean, they have to do all of these things. So if you're raising that weight standard, that body fat percentage, training has to change if you're going to be doing that. That's going to have a ripple effect.
What Ariel said is let's get them help to meet the standard. Let's not lower the standard, right? So maybe they need to start doing like a devil.
You know whose job that is?
That
whose job that is?
Right.
The recruiter.
Yep. And they should be doing
in the gym 4 days a week with my guys.
Yep. They had devil pups. I know there's devil pups and things of that nature.
Even in the delayed entry program.
Yeah. Right.
I could put in so there's your enlistment weight, right? So the weight, there's a weight for you to enlist, right? Then there's your ship weight, and then there's your weight for standards for your height and weight. So there's 3 different weights for the Marine Corps. I had to get my guys to their enlistment weight, but then I also had to get my guys down to their ship weight. Not only did I have to get them to weight, I had to get them to do so many pull-ups, get their run time for their 1.5 miles to a certain run time, and I had to get their crunches, sit-ups, whatever they were doing at the time, because it shifted to where it needed to be to ship. They had to meet the minimum of all 3. And then once they got to recruit training, now it's the drill instructor's job to get them to get to Marine Corps standards for their 3-mile run, for their crunches and their pull-ups. So there's already programs out there.
Yeah. And then when you get in,
it's the recruiter not holding the applicant accountable to come to the gym or come to the pool functions.
So then when I get in, I realize I had no idea this was a thing, but they slated me as a diet recruit. So on my damn thing, I had 2 white lines with my platoon number in between it. And so when I went through the chow hall line, I had a drill instructor at the end, and we were always the last at the line too. They always let the double rats go, who were the double rations, who got to go fucking twice.
That were underweight.
Underweight dudes, right? They got to go twice, and then they had the heavier dudes in the back. And we had the drill instructors just sitting there waiting, and he would say, "Don't eat that. You better eat half of that. Don't even touch that. Why did you put that on your plate?" And so when we go sit down, as soon as the little guys are done eating and everybody starts getting up, we're done. So they had to start learning to coordinate with us bigger guys, because we're like, bro, wait, and I learned how to scarf down my food. And I still scarf my damn food down because of this. But I had to sit there and just eat super fast. And then when I was done, I would have to sit at the end. I would have to sit at the door with my tray, and the drill instructor would come through and make sure whatever he said, don't touch. I always had to take the whipped cream off the Jell-O. Like, you don't eat half of my rice. Don't even touch the bread, type stuff. I mean, I can eat all the proteins and water only, like, don't you dare go getting juice or anything else.
Yeah.
Man, they were hard.
Can I offer a perspective here, gentlemen?
Yes, sir.
The lowering of the standards right now, in some ways, is a sign that we've actually done our job really, really well. And I'll explain my point. We have created such a safe society. Nobody has to run anymore. The new adventure sport is ordering Uber Eats. There's no one running around to have to run away from.
Right,
so guess what? The society we've fought to make safe is now fully safe. And I think we've almost done a too good a job, because now there's such a low expectation of people's physical bodies. The woods have been cleared, the roads have been flattened, and the environment we've created is almost so safe that there's now zero expectations of people's body. And if you go off the idea that the Defense Force is a reflection of society, albeit a little bit behind, it's almost inevitable that for if we're going to draw from society, and the society is safe because we've made it safe, that now if we're going to meet numbers, someone thinks it's a good idea to go, well, let's to meet these numbers on the piece of paper. Here's a great idea. Let's lower our standards because the society we're in right now is just there's no expectation. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It does.
I wanna
This is
also-
another knee-jerk reaction from our government that they reduced the force. This happened, I think, in the 70s or 80s too, where they reduced the force. The 80s, right? Where they reduced the force, and then all of a sudden now we need people. And when you need people, well, what the hell are we going to do? Well, let's let fat people in now. I mean,
well, here's the problem. What was
that's the problem
no,
with
look at the deployment cycle was the problem, right?
Yeah.
So all those young men and women that came in after 9/11, that's like, oh, I'm going to make a career out of this. They got burned out on their deployments. So now hardly any of the branches are making retention, which is why they have to lower the standards for recruitment.
Yeah.
That's the problem. The retention piece. Not the recruitment piece, but the retention piece. They need to do something to keep these young men and women in the service, whatever branch it may be, and that standard for recruitment will come back up again. But until they fix retention, recruitment's not going to be fixed.
Right. The problem is the grass is always greener on the other side for these guys, the paychecks and stuff like that. Like these mechanics in the air wing, they're sitting there busting their ass. They're working mad hours. Well, dude, on the outside world, they could be making $50 an hour, 6 figures, and all that stuff. So when the time comes up in re-enlistment and they start talking to job recruiters and they're like, damn, I can make how much? And then they're looking at their paycheck now. There's a little bit of a trade though, right? Like the security that you get when you're in and stuff like that. You're always for sure going to get your paycheck every other week.
And that's why you can't use your GI Bill or your tuition assistance for your A&P license anymore. Yep. The Marine Corps is no longer paying.
They don't want to pay for
that. So now you have to come out of your pocket to do it. Because I was a V-22 guy for 5 years before I retired, and a lot of those guys and girls saw the not the engineers, the freaking contractors, the civilian contractors that were working the programs and how much money they were making. Then they deployed, right? These contractors are deploying and making triple, right? So they see that and then they get out. And for a long time, the Marine Corps was paying for them to go get their A&P. Well, shortly after their EAS is up and they're gone. Now they're back as a contractor. And that cycle stayed the same until they're like, we're no longer paying for your A&P. You got to pay out of your pocket. Oh, and if you want to go take the test, you have to take leave to go do it.
Yeah, I worked in
perspective I want to bring up.
Got out, and that's all it was coming in. Nothing but guys that were just tired of a lot of Air Force mechanics. But anybody that worked on the plane, the money just was so much more better. They had benefits and all the things that they're not missing out. So that's the one thing in the military that they get us while we're young, right? Because that money seems good because we don't have anything. But once you start learning and trade and you get smarter and you get educated, because some of us start getting our degrees while we're in as well. And then you start learning wait a second, man, I could get way more money, start working on my 401k and all these great things that are enticing because we're all money driven. Let's face it. I mean, ever since we were little kids, you went the big house with the white picket fence and all the things that we're told. So we all are very money driven, and that's what drives us. So
but Gunny made a really good point before about the retention cycle. And when you bring in people that are young, they can, burn the candle at both ends. And that's doable, but you're cashing in your tomorrows to live today. So there comes a point where you're just done. Okay. So part of my job these days is to have people see that if you're going to, the longevity of anything, you have to understand that, performance is like a pyramid. At the top, you're kicking goals, you're working hard. You are, there are times to burn the candle at both ends, but the bottom of the pyramid is rest, recovery, healing, and regeneration. And one thing that was certainly not taught to me was that one is related to the other. It was all about throttle up, drive hard, forget about everything else. There was no education around how to rest, restore, and heal yourself, how to self-regenerate. And so that's why, 3 or 4 years in a high tempo unit, guys just get this 1,000-mile stare, and they've cashed in all the other areas of their life to keep doing the job. And that's not the man that the wife's married, So personally, I think that if we started to see that longevity is related to how well you can rest, restore, and that actually becomes part of the performance pyramid in service, literally next week, last week I was in Parliament House talking about the struggles veterans have getting out of service. And next week I'm going to be talking at an army base, explaining to them I'm all about sleep these days because performance is relative to sleep. People don't actually know that quality rest is equal to quality performance. And the army, in my experience of it, is all about throttle up, drive hard, and it completely steps over rest. And then we wonder why guys just fall off the map, a few years, between 4 and 6 years into service, they get this ghostly look. And then it's just a case of life becomes, it's all about hitting the next target or doing the next thing, and you get what's called adrenal fatigue. And if any veterans are resonating with this, have a look at. We all know testosterone is important, but high levels of cortisol drive your testosterone levels into the dirt. So getting your testosterone checked is a really, really good idea to get you out of adrenal fatigue, because adrenal fatigue can manifest as PTSD. So simply getting that into balance, that gives you a lot more energy and a lot more options to look into other areas of your life. Otherwise, you end up always being tired, never being able to sleep, very reactionary, turn into the Incredible Hulk at the drop of a hat. But using anger as a source of energy, like I used to, it's like having $2 in the account and then writing a check for 1,000. It just puts you further under. And I surrounded myself with veterans that agreed with that idea of life. But point I'm trying to dial into here is I really agree with what you said there, Gunny, around retention rates. There's not enough emphasis putting on high quality rest and recovery as not just high quality performance. They're supposed to be connected.
So to your guys' point, I think that the power of habit, teaching the power of habit, right? All of these guys, if they and that's what they're trying to instill when you're in boot camp, right? But if it gets taught the right way, if you maintain it going forward, it'll allow you to have this, right? Another perspective that I want to bring up about lowering the standards is what is going to be the amount of injuries that are going to happen. Yeah. How many of these kids are going to go straight to a med board that are going to get kicked out within a matter of months, weeks, years, because they couldn't make it, or right out of boot camp that are not going to qualify for any benefits because they didn't serve over 2 years, right? Yeah. And now you're getting rid of a veteran, you're kicking them out into the streets, so you're creating this massive loop of issues, and then that's how we as veterans become labeled with PTSD, not being able to do this. They don't have access to the VA or all of these other things, and it's just a self-fulfilling cycle.
Yeah, and in addition to that,
Willis and I had a guy in our platoon he was right at maximum age, like 34 years old. Skinner. We called him the grand old man of Paris Island. He'd been through like 4 or 5 cycles. We were his like 4th or 5th platoon that he had been with, because he would make it to the Crucible and then he'd get stress fractures on the Crucible, and then he'd get recycled back a couple weeks into, he'd go to medical, and then he'd go back like a week or 2 to do the conditioning up to the Crucible, and the same thing would happen again. And then he finally made it through when Willis and I graduated.
Wow.
And I don't know. I lost touch with him, after that. I don't know what happened to him, but I'm sure he was hurting for sure. You know.
I'd like to address something that Bob Maher says, right? There were some med board soldiers out of basic at 100% for PTSD. Are you fucking kidding me? You might be right. Some of them, that's what their proposed letter says. But when the VA actually gets to them, and when they actually get their actual VA letter, it doesn't reflect that, right? So you get out thinking that you're going to be at 100%, And then sometimes they don't get it, and sometimes they gotta fight for all those things. Some people do get them. Don't get me wrong. I see it both ways, right? I've seen both of those, um, both of those instances, but sometimes it just sucks what happens to the veteran that needs the help and that is not able to get it. You know what I mean?
Yep. Oh, trust me. So I got blown up twice. Once in February 19th, 05, and then once March 20th of 05. 30 days apart, on foot both times. So Marine Corps let me stay in. I think I stayed in another 6 years. And then started my med board process in 09. It didn't get finished until 2011.
Yep.
My Navy Marine Corps
almost
piece,
deliberate. They try and string the process out. So they just, if we can wipe out a third of people by stringing it out, then that saves us money. It's go on. Sorry, I had to speak to that.
Yeah. So my Navy Marine Corps piece was 40%. They rated me from my left knee down. That was it. No post-traumatic stress, no TBI, no other internal issues that I had developed after coming home from Iraq. None of that. My VA piece was 70 because at the time I was one of the friggin' guinea pigs that my package went both to the VA and the Navy at the same time. And then my rating came back at the same time. After 2 years, I'm like, you know what? I'm done fighting. Let me go home. So I came home.
That's what they want. That's what they want. They want you to give up.
Yeah. Then the real fight began. So I fought another couple of years and got Senator McConnell's office involved and ended up moving up to 80%. I fought. Then I gave up again. And my wife's like, no, keep going. Fought a couple more years, got a VSO, a good VSO involved, and got to 90. And then had a disc replaced in my neck. And then all this other stuff that's going on in my neck and spine. And the VA's like, it's not service connected. I'm like, I had other life-threatening injuries that they were, looking at instead of my neck and my back. I had gaping wounds. My leg was friggin' almost snapped in half. I had shrapnel wound in near my femoral. Yeah, that's a little bit more important than them taking an X-ray of my friggin' neck and my back when I have open wounds and I'm bleeding out, right?
Yeah.
So then the PACT Act came out. And because I have a history of sinusitis and some other stuff, I submitted that paperwork, everything from my doctor, 100%. I'm like, I'm done. It took me, this was December 2 years ago. So what was that? 2023. 12 years to go from 70% VA to 100% after having 45 surgeries.
Holy shit.
Numerous other hospital stays, all linked to being blown up in Iraq. It took me over 12 years to get to 100%, and only because of the PACT Act.
Yeah, you can't do it on your own. If you don't have good people in at least 6 people around you, because it takes the strength of 8 people to do it, in my experience. And it sounds like and it's like, well, if we can string this out long enough, we can pick off the ones that aren't organized. We can pick off the ones that just get fatigued. They're already fucked anyway. So there's a pretty good chance they'll give up,
And Samuel, to your point, man, like I went through my med board for over 2 years, right? And right at the finish line, the lawyer from DC, he was basically telling me, he was giving me bad information. Luckily, I had someone else that was advising me with good information. And he was telling me that everything that I was asking for was unable to be physically possibly done, right? And I stood my ground. I was able to, because he wanted to deter me from talking to the med board itself, right, and having a conversation. When I talked to the med board, first they said, I am so sorry for making you go through this whole fucking pain. This guy is fucking full of shit. Second of all,
he wanted his
right?
money.
Yeah, and you didn't know in your position of vulnerability, you don't know who to fucking trust.
Exactly.
No, you don't.
Right. And then luckily I'm stubborn, right? And luckily I do, and in all seriousness, luckily I had the podcast, I had you guys to bounce a lot of things back and forth from, right? And then say, no, dude, like this is bullshit. Like I shouldn't be fucking putting up with this.
Yeah.
And then not ever so I was talking to the med board chairman, and the lawyer jumps in and says, "Don't worry, I will talk to him and I will tell him all these things." I'm still waiting for that fucking phone call, right? But luckily, everything was taken care of because I had you guys to be able to get the right information and go through the process and stick with it. Mostly the stick with him part, you know. So
Yogi, I want to offer you something there, buddy, because there's nothing you can't handle. What any of us can't handle is feeling like we're alone in the process. And the thing about fatigue and pain, it'll get to a certain duration or intensity where it transforms from just being fatigue and pain, and you feel alone, isolated, the only one going through this. You can't talk about this sort of stuff. And those unspoken words become like rocks around your heart, man. It's like you can't feel anything. Man, I used to drink so much alcohol just so I could fucking feel something, man.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
And
you know what? Go ahead.
You go, JJ. You go.
Well, no, and in all of these situations, and because I went through this too, when I first got out, it was pain, it was post-traumatic stress. The first thing that every single doctor that I went to, other than recommending surgery, the first thing they wanted to do was give me all the medications they possibly could. And what does the medication do? It takes it takes your temper, everything down, and it shuts you up so you can't go and fight more. And you know, I think there's a formula here that the VA is using, and it's because they don't want people to come forward. They don't want people to fight. They want people to take their 60%. Hopefully they stay home and they shut up. They'll have a caregiver there. They'll be fine. Don't fight for more money.
Yeah.
And I have friends.
There's a whole economy based on you not knowing your sovereign power and you being disempowered. And what we need to see, the power that we have for another person. Like JJ, I would not be able to, I'd be lying if I said, look, your future's looking shiny and bright in the immediate future. I can't spare you from that. But what I can spare you, buddy, is the feeling like you're going to go through this alone. That's within my power. So guess what? I'm blowing your phone up every day, buddy. How you doing? You know, and I said that to my mate who had his legs blown off in Afghanistan. You know, no one knew what to say to him because us Aussie blokes were all pretty tough. You'll be right, mate. But you can't say that to a guy that's lost both his legs. So I said that to him and I said, look, I can't say that your life's getting better and I can't say that I've got any empathy for what you're going through. But what I can spare you is a feeling like you're going to go through this alone. That's within my power. So that's what I'm going to do for you. Mm-hmm. And we can all do that. We can all do that.
Well, we should be doing that. I mean, it sounds like we all spent some time in. We all have some experience. We all have a little bit of know-how. And if we're not helping those that don't know, that don't have the drive to fight these things, and they're eventually going to feel like they want to give up. You know, suicide is way too often. It happens way too often. And and you know, if we're not seeking these people out, if we're not talking to these veterans, hey, have you gotten your benefits? Hey, how are you doing? How are things going since you got out of the military? If you're not asking these questions, then you're not doing your part. And it's important to make sure that we're building these communities. Ask the hard question. That's right. We got that. That's our part, especially as leaders, senior leaders, or at whatever level we were when we were serving. Now we're out. And we're all senior leaders. If we have any understanding at all, we need to be helping those people that don't understand the process and they're trying to go through it too.
Yeah, and underneath all that, JJ, underneath all that, JJ, there's two things that I just want to presence everybody to, that if you can crack, because there's a bit of a misunderstanding when we say we want to help somebody, it's like we have to put resources in them. And that can be quite draining because as a human, we've only got so much energy. But if you understand that they've got 98% of everything they need inside of them, and if you can do two things for them, if you can break their isolation, and that's easier than you think, right? So all the shit that we've been through, that's actually there for us to turn into fertilizer. It might have taken you a week, a decade to do that, but you can do that for others in far less time, right? And just simply is speaking to someone's situation. Yeah, I know what it was like to go through what you call the VA. You know, I couldn't, just speaking those unspoken words, and they're like, and then they'll say something like this: fuck, I thought I was the only one. Mm-hmm. You know, when you hear those words, that's the beginning of their isolation being broken. And then the second thing you can do for them, and this is what I'm personally passionate about, is getting them out of fatigue. And for me, sometimes getting your hormones checked is a good way to start. Obviously, I have a breathwork thing that helps people turn off the racing thoughts and alkalize the body. Because I was one of those guys. I lost 6 years of my life to pills. I made the mistake of telling a doctor I couldn't sleep. Here's a pharmacy, mate. And initially I'm like, this is great. Long service leave in a bottle. Glug, glug, glug. You know? But that came at a cost, and no one told me the cost of taking these things, and no one told me how fucking hard it is to get off them. You know? So breaking isolation is within our power, but then doing things to get them out of fatigue. Because if you can tap those two things, it's just like this golden compass turns on inside of them when they're no longer feeling isolated, when they're getting out of fatigue. They have everything they need inside of them to move forward. And life gets a whole lot easier when you're working with these universal truths, or at least the very cause of their problems. Because it's not that they can't handle, you know, Gunny's plenty strong. He can handle everything thrown at him, but what he can't handle is feeling all alone in the process, or if he's completely fucked and he's got no energy.
Yeah.
Chris, you've been off quiet, brother.
I was gonna say the same thing. He's just sticking around.
Used to it. No, I think you guys bring up some really good points. So Yogi and I, we actually both started our medical process within 6 months of each other. Yogi and I were both in Japan, and when I started my med board process, well, you don't start a med board process; you go limited duty at first.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, for the Navy and Marine Corps, you're going to be on like limited duty for about 12 months to, you know, 16
minimum
months.
6 months. Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't stick it out. I had enough time, as did Yogi. But it was because I was geobatching, you know, my family wasn't around. I did not want to go through a legal process to separate, because there's a whole entire stigma that gets put on you as you go through the med board. As Yogi had to
Lived
bear
it every day.
Yogi had to bear it. And can you imagine being a 22-year military senior enlisted leader? You served your country. You busted your butt back every single day. You took care of your sailors. You took care of your officers. Took care of your brothers and sisters.
Hey,
And then you get put into
I'm going to talk to Bob Banner real quick. Hey, Bob, I do know who you are. I've seen you with Triple Threat Vets podcast, so I know you're the real deal. I've talked to Ty many a time, so you're more than welcome back anytime. So I will talk to you later through Ty. Sorry to interrupt, Chris.
Oh no, you're good. Air assault out. I like that. So that whole entire stigma that gets placed on you is a real deal, and it's something that I think we who've gone through this, we need to talk more about it. And we need to talk more about this, because the more light we bring onto it, the less of the proverbial cockroaches will come when the light shines on it.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: Yogi served 22 years, but they treated him like an airman. That's not okay.
No,
that is not okay. And and I get, you know, they have these Lundu commands, but they're not prioritized to benefit the sailor. They're just literally a place, or a broom closet in some cases, where they put these unwanted sailors and Marines.
It's so they can have somebody fill that slot, because you are no longer accountable to the command anymore, and they can get somebody to fill that position, right? Yeah. That you were in.
And all branches work the same way.
Yeah. And
So-
you know, and I'm going somewhere with the story too.
Okay.
And so the point
Shut up, Kenny.
of this is, yeah, shut up. Right. So the point is when you find yourself in a position, and that's why I'm such a big advocate for talking about this subject over and over and over again, is that my goal is to destigmatize the med board process. My goal is to actually, get leadership to actually care about their sailors. Why are we not setting them up for? They should come into the command. There should be some available training for them to separate because more than likely, they're going to separate at some point in time. So why are they not bringing in resources? Why are they not setting up events for these guys instead of just having them go around the offices and picking up the garbage and sweeping up the outside, if they're even able to, because they might have some kind of limitation that they can't stand for an extended period of time. Why are we shoving them all in a closet? That's not what we should be doing. What we should be doing is setting them up for success because they all swore an oath. They all did not come into the military to end up leaving this way. So it's super important to advocate
Right.
for yourself.
If this country
and we
could
all
see the importance
volunteered.
of-
Yeah.
All of us.
It's a volunteer. It's a volunteer force,
So
and we have a hard time advocating for ourselves. We're trained not to advocate for our individualism. We're trained as a team, so you got to start learning how to advocate for
If you
yourself.
ask for help, that means you're weak, and if you're weak, you let the team down, and we'll die before we let the team down.
Yeah.
And you know what? To answer your question, if this country can see the benefit and in recycling its plastics, it can see the benefit in recycling its servicemen and women.
Yeah. So there's a
Exactly.
comment. I know you guys can't see TikTok, but I can. And
TikTok.
I'm
So
glad
Janae
you
Tag
did.
me on there, man.
You just impressed me.
So Janae Hunter, she said, thank you all for sharing. I am not a vet, but my son was, and he was medically discharged, was her first comment. She said, I had no clue how hard that was on him mentally. And then she said, I appreciate, come on, get off there. I appreciate being understand it more. So she's saying, thank you guys for sharing your struggles with the med board process.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
to everybody's point here, right? I don't think it's so much the lack, because we all care. We're all empathetic, right? But we all got so much shit going on that when you're only seeing things in one direction. And then the person that is now LLD or light limited duty, it's now another thing, another mouth to feed, right? Another problem that you have to solve. And you have to devote a lot of information to them that you don't even know, right? How can you teach someone something that you haven't even transitioned? You don't even know what you're doing, or you don't even want to think about that because it's a waste of your time, right? Especially if you're in 10, 12, 15 years, or even if you're 27, but you got 3 more years before you hit your 30, you're not even going to think about that, right? I am going to say, out of all the places and people that I've talked to, the Marine Corps here in Camp Pendleton, the Wounded Warrior Battalion, shout out to them. They are absolutely what anyone and every program that has a light limited duty should be about. It's the process is streamlined. The process is informational. Go take care of your medical benefits. Go take care of your this. Oh, you don't know about this? Let me show you about that, right?
But
And
they
boom,
assign
boom,
us a
boom,
case
boom, boom.
manager.
Yes,
to help with
exactly.
that.
Right? So I was assigned a case manager here in Balboa. The guy would call me Sally. And that's not a fucking joke, right? He would call me and say, hey, are you this guy? I'm like, hey, dude, like we talk. I've told you what my problems are. Oh, well, I'll call you back in like a week or two. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? I was like, this is my problem. I need you to fucking do this. Wow. This is your job. You're my case manager, case manage, right? Until finally I lost my shit, right? Because I needed him to do his fucking job, and I put him on blast. And he did one thing, and then again disappeared, right? But my point is, unfortunately, as senior enlisted and or as officers, we're not able to empathize with anyone because we haven't gone through that process. We don't see it, right? And so if we have someone that we retain and that we teach to allow that process, someone that has gone through the process, and teach the service members to go through it, it not only would be more streamlined, there would be better positions that are allowed, right? The system would be even better, and there would be less problems with the service members as they go through that individual problem that they're facing, right? Instead of feeling alone and being, how many suicides happen during that process, right?
Yeah.
I witnessed a service member who got their letter saying that they were going to be getting 100% disability. They were out the door. They had 2 weeks before they left, committed suicide. And the stigma was that those people just do it because they want to have the money and get the fuck out. When in reality, that's not the case. Maybe for some, maybe not for some. I don't know. I'm not in everybody's mind. But the stigma is there, and we have to get rid of that stigma.
And Yogi, this is what happens. Guys end up getting in this fight for recognition, and they actually think that the money's going to put back in what the service took out.
Yeah.
It simply doesn't work like that. What the money allows you to do is have a journey for you to find the healers you need to put back in what the service took out. So you can actually serve, because we all joined to serve, but there's some things we picked up. There's some blockages that need to be removed for us to bring our gifts into the world.
Yeah.
And this is where guys, like, we're all fighters, and we get tied up in this fight of, once I get recognition, and that's what we're seeing. Because like you said, we're only seeing so far ahead. But even if you do get that payout, it's not going to put back in what it takes out, because it simply allows you to take the time needed to get the healing you need to then keep serving keep bringing your gifts into the world, not burdened by, the anger that I had or the addiction to pills or finding those things.
Yeah.
You ever hear the saying that you are a direct reflection of those who you associate with or hang out with?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I don't look like you, Chris. I do not look like you.
You're more handsome, Yogi.
So,
You're more handsome.
That's what's up, bro. That's what's up.
We need Chris to bring up the group average.
So,
Yogi, you need a filter, mate. You need a filter, okay? You're killing us.
here's the thing that we need to realize is whenever you find yourself in a situation where you're going through a dark path and limited duty, med board, if you have any kind of medical difficulties or anything like that, when they send you to a place that's not like Camp Pendleton's Wounded Warrior program, but where you're just surrounded by a bunch of negative things that are going on, a command that despises that they have to have you around, you're getting treated like landfill, ordered around, you're part of an organizational or operational command. So that means that they're working their butts off while you're trying to get your medical help. So now they resent you for that. You gotta find that group, and it may not be inside the doors of where you're at. That's why build your tribe has always been the core element of what we talk about. Because if you don't have that core group of people, you're going to look like the rest of the people that are drowning, because you haven't sought your own group to bounce ideas.
Bro. Chris, I love that. I like saying it. The way I tell people is, you could have who likes Wagyu steak here, right? That really fatty steak. I freaking love that stuff. Okay, all day, num num num, right?
But I'm sure you do like fatty steak.
Down under fatty steak.
From under.
Well, look, kangaroos don't have a lot of meat on them, so you pretty much got to eat them blue. All right. But we're also fit because we got to chase them, and they run really fast, little buggers.
Hey, you just said we don't have to run anymore, man. Come on. Now you're telling me you're chasing kangaroos?
You got to chase your food. You
Hey, shit, guys, I got to get going. But thank you, Willis, for bringing me on tonight, brother. And it was great meeting all of you.
Hey, JJ, I want to follow up with you at some point. All right?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, sweet. Okay.
Yep. Hey,
See you,
Willis,
JJ.
can you help us make
Bye,
that
JJ.
connection?
I will do.
Okay. All right. Take care, guys.
See you, buddy.
Chris, to just to sort of dial into what you were saying, you are what you marinate in. You could be, the way I sort of see humans is, you could be a $500 piece, a kilo or pound of Wagyu steak, but if you're marinating in shit, you're going to smell like shit and taste like shit, Yeah. And so, I'm the most motivated guy I know, but if I want to do something, I'll look at, well, how do I surround myself with those people that are where I want to be? And that once you can click into that marinade idea, then and all of a sudden it just becomes fucking possible. Whether it's I want to get fit, I'll hang out with the people that are where I want to be. They'll hang out with the people that are fit. So it stops becoming me being a determined guy to get fit, and it just comes me hanging out with like-minded people, which are friends, and weeks become months, months become years, and before you know it, you're doing it. So for me, the same thing goes for mental health. I'll look for people that are in that same space. I mean, fuck, what are we doing here, right? We're hanging out with people that are where we want to be, and in the mental health space, you're right. If you're surrounding yourself with people that are not serving you and are not where you want to be, we're a lot more porous than what we'd like to admit. Our energy flows in and out of people around it without sounding, too woo-woo, but it comes up powerfully if you're hanging out with negative, people that just know how to take from others, and people can get very effective at taking from others. But then, hanging out with those guys that are where you want to be, then it just, something happens, and physiologically, we've got like a percentage of our brain wired for what's called mirror neurons. Okay. So we mirror those people that are around us, and hanging out with people that are where you want to be. It just happens so easily and effortlessly, just like the converse is true. Like you spoke to, Chris, you're hanging out with these negative assholes that aren't going anywhere, and they don't believe in you. So we just get in that suck. So what I'm trying to say, Chris, is I fucking believe in you.
Yeah,
and a lot of people are going to be like, well, I don't have a choice. I'm ordered to be in this area at this point in time. So to everybody that's still serving and they're like, well, I'm in a unit and they're all negative and everything like that. That's why you need to find a group outside of there, and you need to go fill yourself up with whatever positivity it is from them. So that way you could weather the storm, because you're going to have to weather that storm. So you need to start battening those hatches. You need to be your own advocate. You need to find that group of people that you can surround yourself with. So that way you don't.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to be in person, like just look at us. We're hanging out all across the planet, and the energy is real. I'm feeling good hanging out with you assholes.
Heck yeah. I love it. So
man, you're not that much of a wanker.
Wanker.
That's not even an Aussie word, man.
It's not an Aussie accent.
No.
Just to piss off the Australians even more, I compare them to the English.
Yeah, you're all Canadian, right?
He might
I'm close
be
enough. I'll give you that one, man. I'm close enough.
So Desert Storm Vet on TikTok says, keep your circle small and choose carefully. So yeah, I agree with that 100%. My circle is very, very small. Granted, it has grown a little bit with you guys, all the veteran podcasters that are very like-minded. And then plus now with the group on TikTok that I'm in, there's only still very few. So I have my immediate circle, like my close friends. Like Gunny's going to be in there because I've known him since 1997.
Easy.
He stuck with me until we're dead. But my immediate circle is really close, and then I have my outer circle of people that I talk with on a daily basis or weekly. And then my next circle, which is out here, which are just my acquaintances that, I might talk to every 2 months or 3 months or whatnot. So I definitely keep my circle small. And I learned that long time ago that, you got to cut the toxic people out of your life. Because if not, if you're here and they're here, they're going to drag you down to their
Even
level.
if they're family.
Even if they're family. Yes. But guys, it's been 1 hour and 35 minutes of great conversation. I want to thank each and every one of the people that came in and have commented via Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever they've came from. Also, all the people on TikTok as well. You guys are why we do what we do. And if we can help one person, and I can tell you right now, we've already helped Miss Janae Hunter. I wanted to make sure I said her name right. We already helped her understand her son a little bit better tonight with the conversation we had. So I can say we completed our mission tonight of reaching one person, and that's what it's all about, is reaching that one person.
Yeah, well, there was some good energy in the room, and I would love just to offer something to round out, just a little bit of a reset breath for everybody, and they can use that through the week when they want to recalibrate their head.
Let's talk about this first, Tim.
Okay.
Let's talk about that.
So if yourself or anyone you know is struggling with sleep, I'm giving away 28 days of free sleep. Okay, all about breath work. When I lost 6 years of my life to pills, I didn't know breath work could kick the shit out of my head, because breath outranks thoughts. Okay, like an ex-professional fighter here, I fought guys that were more skillful, but I knew if I took away their lungs, their thoughts disappeared. So it is with your racing mind. When you tap into your breath, you kick that shit out of your head. Okay, and it works. All right. And so all you need to do is, go to that breath work in bed, download whatever Android smartphone you have. No judgment, but I'm an Android dude. This is the, I can't do what you. yeah, fuck you guys. But Gunny, Willis, you've been playing with the breath work in bed. How are you finding it?
Yeah, I'm still sleeping great.
Same. I'm still sleeping great. And I've done more of the breath work than I do the rod and cones, which that's a whole different episode. If you want to see that, go back and find Tim's episode and watch that. It's at the end where he talks about the rods and cones. But it works. It works really, really great. And Katie Parker said breath work is incredible healing. So, dude, it is. And look, my people are showing up because they're already putting in hashtag be somebody stranger. They're beating me to it because they already know that's coming. But yeah, the breath work, if you're out there, go download the app. It's free. You get a 28-day free trial. Tim's breath work is amazing. It will refresh, rejuvenate. It has helped me. I'm an insomniac. I can't sleep. It has helped me sleep better. And I tell you what, it's friggin' amazing. So definitely.
And I just want to gift people who've taken the effort to listen to this. I want to show them a quick little reset breath that'll energize and recalibrate your head. Okay, so just be seated. Don't be doing this when you're driving or cutting up carrots. Okay, if you're like me, you won't be able to count to 10. So we're just going to breathe in, but then breathe in more. Okay, and notice when you breathe in more, you've got extra air opening up there. And if don't hang on to it, just let it out with a sigh. All right, cool. So that extra inhale, we're going to call it your secondary inhale. You know what's coming, Willis. So we're going to, you didn't know this, but in our fingers here, we're going to pinch here, and that's like a turbo button for our secondary inhale. So I'm going to invite everyone just to blow it out, shake it out, blow it out, shake it out, and then breathe in, hit those turbo buttons, hold it, wriggle it around, wriggle it, feel like that chest is opening up, pushing air into spaces that wasn't there before, and let it out with a sigh. I always get one. Chris is laughing. Teeth start showing when we start breathing up here, okay? And the reason for that is when we get shit in our head, look what happens. We hunch over, all right? Our structure changes. And we're not just getting energy from our breath, we're getting energy from our nervous system. So our nerves are like hose pipes, and energy runs through them. So if you step on your hose pipe, there's less water going through. If we're hunched over, we're pinching off. We're not just crushing our breath, we are restricting the amount of energy that flows through. So when we breathe in and pinch, we actually get proper structure. So we're going to juice this up one last time. So if everyone's looking at my nose, see how that's flaring? Okay, behind our nose, we have a sinus cavity. And what we're going to do is suck the air in twice as fast over the sinus cavity straight into our brain. Okay, so we're gonna raise our chin and suck in twice as fast through our nose so we can suck in that air over that sinus and refresh our brain. So everyone blow it out, blow it out, blow it out, blow it out. Have your power buttons ready. Getting ready to snort through your nose. Breathe in, snort in really quick. Snort, snort, snort. Open up, open, wriggle your shoulders, look up, wriggle, wriggle, wriggle. And when it feels right, let it out with a big sigh.
I feel it.
Yeah. So whenever you need to reset throughout the day, I discreetly have this ready. This is my circuit breaker. This is my like little morphine pump, you know, you have in the hospital. Have that there. If I'm like pissed off somewhere, I'll just, you know, discreetly.
Yogi's head.
Yeah, that's right. You can start talking to each other. You'll never be alone.
Oh man. Oh no, dude, I love it. I love it, Tim. Like I said, I've been doing it since your episode, and
it's been 2 months.
Yeah, been 2 months. 2 months, Tim.
I watched that episode. I think I commented on it.
I think you did. And dude, it was amazing. Katie Parker here says that was amazing. So Tim, you are amazing. So if you're out there, you're watching this later, you're watching it now, go to the website. I'll put it back up on the screen and then I'll read it.
You can get out your phone and put in 3 words, breathwork in bed. You can download the app, 28 days free. It'll change your fucking world, man. Like, no shit. Like, it is better than drugs. When you get into this, you reclaim your sovereignty, because what you're going to discover, it's not a set of lungs we own. It's a medicine cabinet with a lot of different shelves. And there's a whole economy based on us getting medicine from outside our own bodies. And so once you reclaim the power of your own breath, you become a sovereign person. And this is what we're all fighting for. You know, nothing beautiful can grow without borders. And so to reclaim that power that we've all been born for, but we've tend to forgotten. It's my absolute pleasure to bring that. And I do want to thank you guys for giving it a bit of a plug at the end.
Hey, no, it was our pleasure to do it, because like Gunny and I said, we've been doing it for 2 months and it has helped us, especially me. I know for a fact that it has helped me.
Still doesn't help in traffic though, Tim.
But it is that time of night. Unfortunately, I'm surprised my wife hasn't started stomping on the floor and tapping on it or whatever. But it is that time of night, so we're gonna do.
Don't worry, she's holding it. She's holding it for when.
She probably is. She's
got that pie in the freezer, and then she's gonna hit you with a solid pie.
Oh yeah, she better be recording that shit. So we're gonna do it like we always do, Tim. We're gonna start with you and close it out and go for that way, brother.
Well, thank you so much for listening. Remember that little reset. If you can control your breath, you can control everything, you know, and if it's not just for you, show it to somebody else. It's a wonderful joy to reconnect people to their power. Have a wonderful night. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, brother. Gunny, you're up. This
You're
is
not
you.
alone.
Hold on.
Hey, look at that. You're not alone. You still have worth. You still have value. You know, surround yourself with people that will build you up, not tear you down.
I love it. All right, let's see. Yogi, you're up.
Hey, fam. Just like you said, you're not alone. We're here with you. And if you need any connections here in California, if you're going through college, reach out. We want to help.
Give them your website, email, something to get a hold of.
Mill2vet.com, Yogi at Mill2vet, or yhernand012 at Students San Diego City College. It's earlier in the thread. I will put it back up.
Awesome. Chris, you're up, brother.
Hey, I just want to tell everybody out there that you matter. Your story matters. And thank you for listening. So one thing that I want to remind everybody is to be your own advocate. Find that group. Learn those resources that are out there. and question everything. That's
I
about
love
it.
it.
You see,
Oh, you're not done. I thought you were done.
I was going to say, you see Mildevet, you reach me at chris@mildevet.com.
I love it, brother. I love it. Yeah, and we talk about it all the time on Homefront Sit Rep, on Tip of the Spear. Hashtag be somebody's stranger. And what I mean by that is we are more apt as humans to talk to somebody who's a complete stranger than the ones we love the most because we want to protect them. We have that protector gene. So be somebody's stranger. Go up to them and say, "Hey, how you doing?" And if they answer with a "I'm fine, I'm okay, I'm hanging in there," then ask this question right here. Ask the next hard question, because that's the signs right there, man. Because it could be a 5-minute conversation, could be a 5-hour conversation. Just be ready for that conversation. Oh, did I put? Yeah, this one. Ask the next hard question. I don't know why I selected the other one, but anyway, guys, it's that time of night. I'm gonna bring everybody back up real quick.
Amateur hour. Amateur
I know,
hour.
right?
One job, mate. One job.
I know. I'm gonna throw Yogi's up there. So if anybody wants to get a hold of Yogi, he's right there on the screen. But it is that time of night, my friends. It's a pleasure, and we will be doing this again next month on the 26th of next month.
It's the same day.
Same date. So you know what? I'm gonna play this commercial real quick, just because I can.